Good morning, everyone. Welcome to JDB's Morning Cap. Today is Wednesday, May 13th, 2026. And we have a lot to get to today. NFL schedule release officially starts tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern for 32 teams as we're counting down to NFL schedule release. We'll talk more about that a little bit later on this show on JDB's Morning Cap. We're gonna have a nice headline, nice topics today. We'll talk recap from last night's Game 5. We're going to preview tonight's Game 5. And then we'll talk NFL schedule release. And we'll talk Aaron Rodgers as well. So we have a lot to get into here today. So I know how much I am looking forward to this. But first, we're going to start breaking news in the NBA. It's in Philadelphia. Give me a second. Hold on. Okay, so here we go. Breaking news in the NBA. The Philadelphia 76ers general manager, Daryl Morey will not return as 76ers GM next year. He had decided to part ways. He joined the 76ers organization in 2020. So he spent six seasons as 76ers general manager. So he's out as 76ers GM after 6 seasons. So he ends his run. So here's the notable seasons for the 76ers for Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey has acquired James Harden in 2022, I believe. Trying to work with Joel Embiid. And Daryl Morey had drafted Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. And they also acquired Paul George, trying to make a championship contender. So let's take a look at Daryl Morey's tenure since 2020. The 76ers, let's take a look at the rankings and the results. The 76ers were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, but lost in 7 games in the Eastern Conference semifinals to the Atlanta Hawks in 2021 season. It was a shortened season, by the way. 21-22, the 76ers were the number 4 seed in the Eastern Conference in 21-22. Lost in 6 games in the semifinals to the Miami Heat. 2022-23 postseason, 76ers were the number 3 seed in the Eastern Conference. Lost in 7 games to the Boston Celtics. And in 23-24 season, the 76ers were the number 7 seed, won the play-in tournament against the Heat, but lost the first round to the New York Knicks in 6 games. 2024-25 season, the 76ers in 2024-25 season. They were the 13th seed, end up missing the playoffs. And then this season, they were the number 7 seed in the Eastern Conference. Won the play-in tournament against the Magic, won the first round in 7 games against the Celtics, but lost in the semifinals against the Knicks. They got swept by the Knicks in the second round. So Daryl Morley's coaches, since he joined, Daryl Morley had some coaches part of their 10 years as well. Doc Rivers and Nick Nurse were the 2 coaches who was with Daryl Morley as general manager at the time. Doc Rivers spent 4 seasons with the 76ers, 2020 through 23 season, ended up getting fired after losing a 3-2 series lead in the 2023 Eastern Conference semifinals against the Celtics. They also gave Ben Simmons away to the Brooklyn Nets in 2022 trade deadline. Those were the notable ones. Also, when I look at the 76ers overall, it's a mess. Joel Embiid has not, so the drought continues to start his career. Joel Embiid has been drafted in 2014. He was a 3rd overall pick with the Philadelphia 76ers. He missed out 2 seasons. He missed the entire 2014-15 season. He missed the entire 2015-16 season. He did not make his NBA debut until October 26, 2016. That's incredible. He was out of Kansas University. And then, since then, he's gone his first playoff appearance was 2018. He made it 2018, lost the second round. 2019, lost the second round. 2020, lost the first round. 2021, lost the second round. 2022, lost the second round. That's 5 right there. That's 5 straight, either first round or second round exits. 20. And then 2023 second round exit, 2024 first round exit. Missed the playoffs in 24-25 season. Second round exit this year. Joel Embiid has not made the conference finals since Joel Embiid has never made a conference finals in his career. This is when he debuted his postseason in 2018, he never reached the conference finals of the Eastern Conference or Western. I mean, Donovan Mitchell can still break the drought. He needs 2 wins. We'll get to that a little bit later. But Joel Embiid, he's won an MVP before. He was an MVP in 2022-23 season. That was his best season in his career, his 2022-23 season. He was an all-star. He won an MVP. but did not get out of the second round. They were this close to get out of the second round. Do you think Joel Embiid should be retired? I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be retired. He shouldn't. If he doesn't stay healthy the next couple of years, he has to retire. He's missed a lot of games in his career. And I'm damn sure he's not a future Hall of Famer. Joel Embiid is Barry Bonds of the NBA. This guy can put up big numbers, but you can't stay healthy or you can't stay active on the court, outside of the court, or outside of the field and on the field stuff. You have to get all through this. You have to go through the same process to go through all that stuff right now. All right, so the breaking news is over. We'll talk about breaking news, other sports a little bit later. Let's go to the NBA still. Last night, Game 5 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Spurs and the Timberwolves squared off. Victor Wembanyama led the way with 27 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocks, and 5 assists. So who was the X factor in Game 5? Keldon Johnson broke out. He had 21 points, 8 made field goals. He broke out after a postseason slump so far this year. Stephen Castle with 17 points. De'Aaron Fox had 18. So Devin Vassell had 12. So contributions for San Antonio. So at one point in the third quarter, the game was tied at 61 apiece between the Wolves and the Spurs. But since then, the Spurs outscored the Timberwolves in the last 6 to 7:51 left in the third quarter. (65-36). The Spurs outscored the Wolves 65-36 since the 7:51 mark of the third quarter and beyond. They gone from 7:51 remaining in the third quarter to end the game. That's how the run started it for the Spurs. Spurs finished a 65-36 run when the run occurred. The run started in a 7:51 mark in the third quarter when the game was tied at 61. But the final score overall, the Spurs beat the Timberwolves 126-97 to earn the Spurs series lead 3-2, and Spurs are one step closer to move on their first Western Conference Finals appearance since 2017. Let me talk about the Spurs right now. We'll get to Minnesota a little bit later. For San Antonio, how the Spurs closed out a 65-36 run since the 7:51 remaining in the third quarter. It was an extended run. The extended run started in the 7:51 mark in the third quarter to the end of the game. It's been offensive rebounds and high efficient points in the paint. It's about efficiency. Consistency and efficiency is going to be critical. It was crucial in Game 5. You got to be efficient with their offensive rebounds and high leverage points in the paint. And they have They have done their damage throughout the second half and making the Wolves' offense a lot more uncomfortable. The Spurs defense dominated the rest of the way. The Spurs dominated the rest of the second half. When the game was tied at 61, the Spurs just avalanched the Timberwolves to earn the series lead 3-2. And now the Spurs are one step closer to clinch to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in 10 years. But if that's the case, then you didn't have to worry about everything else that you're asking for. But Victor Wembanyama, when he performs at a high level, he wins games a lot. De'Aaron Fox and Stephon Castle. Everybody has to know what's going to happen. We're going to have Game 6 back in Minnesota on Friday night. We all know that. We are for the Minnesota Timberwolves. They were right there. It was 61-61 with 7:51 left in the third quarter. And then the Spurs took off down the stretch. And the Wolves offense got complacent the rest of the game. Because they're not getting Anthony Edwards a ball. Even though he got 20 points, they just not give Anthony Edwards a ball a whole lot. Because of that, if it wasn't for an extended run, they would have won this game in Game 5. Timberwolves would have won the Game 5. Because of crucial turnovers, unable to rebound the basketball on the defensive side of the ball. That's how they lost. And some silly turnovers and handful of bad fouls. We've seen handful of bad fouls in Game 5 for the Wolves last night. It's been really disappointing loss. And now, are the Wolves out of it yet in Game 6? No, they're not. They still got a chance to force Game 7 on Friday night back at home. Game 7 back in San Antonio on Sunday. Game 6 is in Minnesota. So they got to do their thing in Game 6 at home to keep your season alive. Chris Finch, by the way, he's 4-4 in his career when facing elimination. So he's had decent success when facing elimination. So they're trying to stave off the elimination on Friday night in Minnesota. So we will see how that goes here. Spurs with a 126-97 victory as the Spurs take the series lead 3-2. They had a chance to close out in Minnesota on Friday night, or the Timberwolves can stay alive with a win, could force Game 7 back in San Antonio on Sunday. We'll see how that goes here in this one. All right, coming up next, we will preview tonight's Game 5 of the Eastern Conference semifinals. It'll be the Cavaliers and the Pistons. We'll talk NFL schedule release. We revealed the 9 international games this year. We have our 9 matchups in 9 international games. We're going to talk Aaron Rodgers. We'll update Aaron Rodgers' situation on this show today. So as far as returning back to Pittsburgh, is in question as the NFL schedule is approaching. So we'll talk all that in this winter. All right, before we go to break, we had multiple sad news to share with. First one, we're going to start with the youngster, the Canadian-American basketball forward. And the Memphis Grizzlies player, Brandon Clarke, has died. Brandon Clarke Brandon Clarke was dealing with overdose. But he hasn't. The cause of death hasn't been quite announced just yet. They'll have to let them. The doctors will reveal it as soon as possible. And Brandon Clarke would spend Brandon Clarke spent. Hold on, Brandon Clarke. Brandon Clarke spent 7 seasons with the Memphis Grizzlies, and we send our condolences to the entire Clarke family. And also, one more thing, we do have another sad news. It's another NBA. It's an older person this time, former basketball player. The guy who's an open gay. Jason Collins. He played. Jason Collins. Brandon Clarke was 29 years old, by the way. Jason Collins has died yesterday. He was battled a stage 4 glioblastoma, which is cancer, by the way. So he lost a battle. Jason Collins spent 13 seasons with the NBA. He spent several teams. He was drafted in 2001, 18th overall pick with the Houston Rockets. He spent time before he went to the New Jersey Nets, Memphis Grizzlies, Minnesota Timberwolves, Atlanta Hawks, Boston Celtics, Washington Wizards, and his final career season was the Brooklyn Nets. And we're going to send our condolences to the entire Collins family. He was 47 years old. These two men, Brandon Clarke, 29 years old, died, and Jason Collins, 47 years old, died. These two men will be missed. Welcome back to JDB's Morning Cap. Tonight, we got the Cavaliers at the Pistons, Game 5. The series is tied at 2 games apiece. So let's see who's going to come up top here. So Cavaliers come off a 9-point win, 112-103 in Game 4 to even up this series. The Cavaliers began the third quarter in a 24-0 run in Cleveland in Game 4. So now, series head to Detroit with the series tied at 2. Who's more confident after the series tied, Cleveland or Detroit? I think Cleveland's more confident because they got to figure things out in Game 5. They're 0-5 on the road in this playoffs, by the way. They're just going how they can figure things out, could go on the road and take this series. Take the series lead, I should say. This is going to be critical. Donovan Mitchell has to be critical tonight. You know what? I trust the Cavs now because it feels like cohesiveness has been better the last couple of games. But I like Cleveland to be in that mix. As long as James Harden plays well, it feels like Detroit just lost their will. in their last couple of games, because I think Cleveland has Cleveland's actually been more physical than Detroit in the rest of the series. But Detroit, they played well at home so far in the playoffs. They only lost just one home game. So far, Detroit is 5-1 at home in the playoffs, if I'm correct. So, for Cleveland, they just need to play hard on the road. They just need to play a lot of confidence. They need to get off to a good start. So, if that's the case, then I'm not going to play the game. You just got to play the game the right way, if that's going to be the case. It's going to be critical. When you make this series competitive, this is not a problem. But this is a golden opportunity to work with, and now you're just going to get behind. But this is what's going to happen here tonight with Jarrett Allen, Evan Mobley. They all have to step up here tonight in Game 5 on the road. So Cavaliers just looking for a big win on the road tonight. It's going to, how critical this game is when the series is tied. You just try to get there. You got to get through this. I'm serious. You got to get through it. And it's all calls. Because of that, there's probably no chance. We'll see how that goes. But you will see all that. But we're gonna play through this. Yeah, and you'll see it happen here. Now, all right, moving off Detroit. I'm also confident Detroit will be back on track at home. So this is a big one here tonight. Cade Cunningham. I mean, this is going to be a huge Game 5 here at home. They play well at home in the playoffs. So what you expect here, I'm more concerned about Detroit though. It feels like the role players at times that I just don't trust in the most. They're still inexperienced. But some players have experience in the playoffs, but the rest of these guys are inexperienced. After next year, they're going to learn. They're going to learn how to get to the deep playoff run, how they can keep this playoff run going. Detroit has to perform at a high level, which they have at times, but at times they struggle in high-pressure situations. But Cade Cunningham will come through. When the game is close, it's Cade Cunningham time. Defense has struggled against Cade Cunningham on the road through the first 2 games. They need to handle that situation here tonight if the game goes down to the wire. You wouldn't have a chance because it's going to go out of your head. But you got to respect it. that you do have to respect that because of that. All of that, this is a big difference for them. And you didn't want to make sure when the Cavs, you want to see that one. All right, who do you think who I like to win Game 5, Cavaliers or the Pistons? Well, I like Cleveland winning Game 5. I think Cleveland has a chance to win Game 5 because they're due to win on the road. Hopefully, Game 6 they can close out in front of the home fans. So Game 5, Cleveland needs to win on the road. I like Cleveland winning Game 5 on the road. I think they have a chance to do it here. All right, so when we come back, we'll update the NFL schedule release. It will not fill out till tomorrow. So we'll see how that is going to go here. Also coming up, we're going to update Aaron Rodgers. So there's a lot going on. So we're going to step away in a couple of minutes. NFL schedule release starts tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. You can see on ESPN and NFL Network for the NFL schedule release. But we do have some updates from the NFL schedule release. So let's break this down. On here. So let's try it right now. Let's get this thing started. All right. Let's go. Let's take a look. In Melbourne on September 10th, it will be the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Los Angeles Rams. 8:15 Eastern. Broadcast information to be determined. Netflix could be the favorite. This alternative, YouTube. So last year, Chargers, the last 2 years was Eagles and Packers in Brazil on Peacock. And then Chargers and Chiefs were on YouTube in Brazil. This year's Melbourne. This game might be either on Netflix or YouTube. So there's a lot to be decided by tomorrow. On September 27th, it'll be the Ravens and Cowboys at 4:25 Eastern on CBS in Brazil. Live in Rio. And then in London gets 3 games from weeks 4 through 6. On October 4th, it'll be Colts at the Commanders in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. October 4th. 3 games will be on NFL Network, by the way. Eagles and the Jaguars on October 11th, also in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And then in Wembley Stadium, it'll be Texans and the Jaguars on October 18th. 3 games will be on NFL Network in London. Then in Paris, France, on October 25th, it'll be the Steelers and the Saints in Week 7. The 3 games in London will be at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. For the Steelers and Saints, same thing, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. That game is also on NFL Network. In Week 9, it'll be the Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, Cincinnati Bengals will take on Tua Tagovailoa of the Atlanta Falcons in Spain at 9:30 a.m. Eastern on NFL Network. Then Week 10, it'll be New England Patriots take on Detroit Lions at 9:38 a.m. Eastern on November 15th on Fox. November 8th will be the Bengals and Falcons in Spain on NFL Network. On November 22nd, Week 11, it'll be the Minnesota Vikings take on the San Francisco 49ers in Mexico City at 8:20 Eastern on NBC. Those are the 9 international games scheduled for 2026-27 season. That will be the most in NFL history this year. 9 international games will be set. This year we will set the NFL record with the most international games in a single season in NFL history. So And first ever games, Melbourne, Paris, are the first time ever international games. Here are the experience international games. Brazil, this will be their third season. London, it's been a bunch of seasons playing in London. Madrid, Spain's second year. Germany, that's the fifth year. Mexico City, I believe that's only the fifth. I believe that's only the fifth time in the history. Last time they played Mexico City, Niners played the Cardinals in 2022. That was the last time the NFL game had played in Mexico City. They haven't played over the last 3 years or so, 4 years or so. So they'll try to get to that point here at this point on. So other schedule releases have been completed. We have Eagles, Cowboys, Thanksgiving. We have Broncos, Chiefs, week 1. We had Lions, Bills, Thursday Night Football, first one. We have Cowboys, Giants, first Sunday Night Football. The Seahawks have not revealed their opponent just yet. In their home opener, I think they're going to face the Bears in week 1, most likely. So there's a chance they'll face the Bears in week 1. Against the Patriots, they'll have to wait for the next several weeks as the NFL schedule releases looming large. Like I said, we've just been talking about all that. All right, so my prediction before the rest of the schedule comes out tomorrow. Which game in which week I should take advantage of? Which game I like to see potential playoff rematch? 49ers, Eagles at 49ers will be week. I'm gonna go with week. I'm gonna go week 2. Eagles and 49ers in San Francisco on Fox, 4:25 Eastern. The NFC wildcard rematch will be Eagles at 49ers in San Francisco. I predict it's going to be Eagles and 49ers in week 2. In week 1, I believe CBS will have a doubleheader in Fox. How about the AFC East matchup? The Buffalo Bills goes to New England to play the Patriots at 4:25 Eastern on CBS. That would be a nice game right there. And then in week 8 or week 9, something like that, it will be I predict it's gonna be the Bills and the Packers on CBS 4:25 Eastern in week 8 on CBS 4:25 Eastern on CBS. It'll be Bills at the Packers on CBS. Bills at Broncos playoff rematch. I'm gonna go week 16 in Denver, 4:25 Eastern on CBS. Bills at Broncos week 16 AFC divisional rematch predictions. And then the NFC East rivalry. It'll be Giants at Eagles 4:25 Eastern in week 10. It'll be Giants. In week 10 it'll be Giants at Eagles. In week 10, 4:25 Eastern on Fox. That's my predictions for their schedule. And then Giants, John Harbaugh will make his Monday Night Football debut as Giants head coach. The Giants will face the Washington Commanders in Washington in week 7. Predictions. That's gonna be my schedule. Then John Harbaugh's first night football as Giants head coach is week. I'm gonna go with week 4. The Giants will be on the road to take on NFC West opponent, the Los Angeles Rams. So that's my prediction for the NFL schedule release. Reality might be tomorrow. Some of these schedules I might get it right, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes as far as NFL schedule release. So it will. 32 teams will have their release tomorrow. Come next, we'll talk Aaron Rodgers. Will Aaron Rodgers return to Pittsburgh? Well, there's the biggest question mark right now. I'll have my answer when we come back. All right, welcome back here. Let's talk Aaron Rodgers really quick. Aaron Rodgers is still waiting for his answer whether he will return or retire. So, as the NFL schedule is approaching tomorrow, so they'll try to make a decision before the release. So they say, the Schefter said, Aaron Rodgers will probably make a decision before the schedule release comes out. So here's my question. The biggest question mark. What could happen for Aaron Rodgers for this offseason? Will Aaron Rodgers return to Pittsburgh, or will Aaron Rodgers decide to retire? What is more likely to happen for Aaron Rodgers? To me, I think Aaron Rodgers should come back, but it's not going to be easy because look at this. We look at these three quarterbacks are in the main chart right now. Yeah, Aller, Howard, and Rudolph are all in the Steelers roster. Aaron Rodgers is trying to return, but Mike McCarthy is now a head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We've been mentioning about this past several months now. The Pittsburgh Steelers need a primary quarterback. I mean, I'm just saying that if you want Rodgers back, that's fine. In these high pressuring situations, you may have to go through some tough ones. That's painful to me. That's just painful. Because of that, you do not want to see everything else you could want to happen. So let's just say about Aaron Rodgers. Let's say if you have your chance, you have your opportunities. You do not want to do that. I can't just take away from everything that you're going to be confident about it. I'm not doing that. There's nothing else I can take away from. But I don't blame Aaron Rodgers quite a bit. I just don't. I mean, he's a 4-time NFL MVP. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's done it all. He's one of the winningest quarterbacks in the NFL in the history in the game. He has one of the most passing touchdowns in NFL history, along with Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. And the list goes on and on. Matthew Stafford's in that mix. And there's a lot of big names. Patrick Mahomes is in the elite list as well. Josh Allen's in that elite list. He's getting closer. Joe Burrow, if he's healthy enough, he's trying to get to that point. I understand that everyone wants to trust Aaron Rodgers at his own cost. We can see all that. We can see they can make it happen. So it's a different story. Something you really want to wait on. And you can learn from it. All right, let's close out on JDB's morning cap. Tomorrow, we will preview the final look of the NFL schedule release, as NFL schedule release will be at 8 o'clock Eastern p.m. tomorrow night. We'll find out who will face these teams for 17 games. Some of them have been confirmed. Rest of it will be confirmed tomorrow. So we'll talk all of that as well, as it should. And then we'll recap Game 5 of tonight's Eastern Conference Semifinals. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, for the first time in this playoffs, no NBA game tomorrow for the first time in this postseason. So, if there was, it would have been Game 6 between the Knicks and the 76ers, but tomorrow, there's going to be no NBA game tomorrow. So, tomorrow, I'll just talk about more NFL schedule. NFL schedule release. So, we should be excited. I'm excited about that. You know how much I am looking forward to. All right, that's it. We'll go back at. We'll talk some more. We'll talk a whole lot more tomorrow. Same time. And I hope your day is fabulous.